I'm your host, Andrew Fritz, and today I want to talk about lucid dreaming. I think it was around when I was 18 years old. That's when I had my first lucid dream. Back then, I didn't even know what lucid dreaming was. Obviously, I wasn't practicing it. Just thought it was a cool experience and didn't really think much about it after that. It wasn't until years later, even after um, going through a lot of my spiritual trainings, clairvoyant trainings. Um, so I guess end of 2018, that's when I really started to learn about lucid dreaming, what it is, and practicing it, keeping a dream journal. And it took me about a little over 2 months to have my first lucid dream after kind of actively practicing. That was a unique time period in my life because I we just kind of were getting into traveling full time in an RV. My wife and I, throughout the United States, just visiting different national parks, different areas. Um, and obviously traveling there comes stressful moments, but for the most part overall during that time period, especially initially, there's actually minimal stress, and I think that really helped with learning lucid dreaming and practicing astral projection. And I think that time period, that's probably when I was practicing it the most and had the most passion, enthusiasm about it, and I'm wanting to kind of get back into that. um, so I teach meditation and clairvoyance. One of my other jobs is a security guard, and so you go on these patrols, and there's all these different checkpoints that you kind of have to hit. And kind of the location I'm at, there are many checkpoints. It can take me just to do one particular um, tour, if you will, or patrol, um, almost 2 hours on foot. And so there's many checkpoints. Um, and so what with the help of a friend, actually, I had this epiphany of, oh, you know what? I should actually, every time I go to a checkpoint, I should do a reality check. And you listening to this, you might know what a reality check is. Some people refer to it as a state check, but I think more familiar, or most people are familiar with it as a reality check. If you don't, stay tuned. You'll learn about it. Um, and for because for me, reality checks is what really I think are the most helpful way of um, just remembering dreams and eventually having lucid dreams. Most effective tool for me, at least. Um, and so yeah, so I just started to do this, and I have to do sometimes I have these 12-hour shifts. So within a 12-hour shift, I'll have to do 3 tours or 3 patrols. That's a lot of, if each patrol is about 2 hours and there's many checkpoints just within one patrol, that's a lot of reality checks. So that's what I've been doing recently. Um, and it's not that every checkpoint, every tour, I'm always doing a reality check, but for the most part, I am doing reality checks at most of these checkpoints on every tour that I do. So this is my way of kind of getting back into it. Um, so yeah, if you happen to be a security guard or listening to this, or have a friend or someone that is a security guard and they're interested in lucid dreaming, this could be one way of. Obviously, you don't want that to get in the way of your job, or you're obviously a job of a security guard, just kind of being present and protecting the place and the people there. But I've found that um, it can be also another useful way of performing these reality checks and practicing or preparing for lucid dreams. um, and so yeah, I've been getting back into uh, keeping a log with my dreams, so a dream journaling, and then doing these reality checks. Those are the two biggest things I find are helpful: is writing the dreams down, and then also um, doing the reality checks. And so I have this video. It's going to come up right up after this, whether you're listening or watching it. This is actually a video that I typically have it's included in the very beginning of a year-long clairvoyant training that I teach. And it gives people the opportunity to learn about lucid dreaming. I share some of my experiences and how to practice it, or just helpful ways that things that have helped me out that possibly could help them out. So I'm going to include this video, so you might hear me referring to things about the clairvoyant training, So don't worry about that. But a bulk of it is really about practicing lucid dreaming. So if you don't know what reality checks is, you'll find out in this um, really shortly here. So that will be coming up right now. All right. My name is Andrew Fritz. I'm the co-owner and meditation instructor of Green Light Yoga. So this video, it's a short video about lucid dreaming, but I'm going to cover two things before we dive into that real quick. Well, first off, just congratulations for signing up for this. This is a really big deal and a big step. Um, Now, the first thing, I just want you to pay attention to what's happening right now in your life and what has been happening leading up to you taking this training. Things that you're starting or beginning, or things that are coming undone or just coming to an end. It's probably not a coincidence. So just pay attention to those things. Um, and when you enter this training, it might not be so noticeable in the beginning, but eventually it will. It's different for each person. You're going to start to notice a shift. And what that shift is you growing and changing and evolving at a bit of a higher rate. So you'll definitely start to notice that at some point. You're going to be going through what are called growth periods. And a growth period is when you make a shift or a change in spirit, and it takes time for your body to catch up to that change or that shift that you made. And there's different ways to navigate or manage these growth periods. You really got to be kind to yourself, take care of yourself and your body. Meditation is going to be helpful, proper nutrition and hydration. Body movement, highly recommend, whether it's just working out, um, yoga, stretching, lifting, whatever form of exercise or body movement that you're into, biking, walking, running, whatever it is, hiking, that's going to be really helpful. And it's going to be a bit of a balancing act and kind of knowing when there's going to be times where you're going to really just need to rest, or you're going to need extra sleep because of these growth periods throughout this year. And there's going to be the times where you got to really move your body. You're probably going to encounter just not feeling like it. You're like, I don't want to go running or go exercise, or I don't want to sit down and meditate. Things don't feel that great. That's when you really need to sit down and meditate and work through that energy, or just move your body again. Anytime you're moving your body, you're just moving energy throughout all the channels and chakras in the body. So all those things, you're going to find what's helpful specifically for you to navigate. Those are just to come some general examples of how you kind of navigate and manage your growth periods. But at some point, you'll notice it and you'll find what helps for you. So just pay attention to that. All right, so next thing is the books, the recommended books. Let's start off with "You Are the Answer," so by Michael Tamara. Highly recommend this. There's some good pictures here that will be helpful. But in my early 20s, when I went to art school in Chicago, my roommate let me borrow this. This is right before, I think, my clairvoyant training that I took there. And I started to read this, and that's when I had my spiritual awakening, when I realized, oh, wait a second, I'm not my physical body. I'm a spiritual being with a physical body. And he even writes that in the beginning of the book. He mentions that, yes, some people are going to have those type of experiences. But my teacher, his name is Ken, and then the author of this book, Michael, they both had the same teacher. His name was Lewis, out in California. And Lewis both taught my teacher and Michael. So everything in this book is very similar to how I was taught and what I teach. So highly recommend this book, "You Are the Answer." And the other book here, "Basic Psychic Development." Again, some really great pictures here that will be helpful for you. And there's some instructions and techniques that are very similar, if not the same, to what I'm teaching here. But yeah, go pick up those two books. That'll really help you out. All right, on to lucid dreaming. Some of you might not know what lucid dreaming is. Maybe you've never had a lucid dream. Most people at least had one, maybe, or at least at some point in their life, they'll have one. Maybe you know what it is, but haven't really had too many. Maybe you know exactly what it is, and you've had quite a few, if not a lot. So lucid dreaming, what is it? It's basically you're having a dream, or you're in a dream, and you suddenly realize, oh, wait a second, I'm dreaming. you know that you're dreaming while you're in the dream. It's conscious dreaming. That is lucid dreaming. Um, and I'm going to give you an example of a lucid dream that I had. This is one of my earlier ones. Um, so basically, the dream is that I'm on top of a hill, and I have this suspicion, just the way you would have in your waking state, just kind of a suspicion that something's up or something's off, or something's going on. Not quite sure what it is. So I decide that I'm going to go investigate. So I'm going to basically start descending the hill, going down the hill. And about halfway down, I noticed this kind of small structure or building. And then I noticed two dream characters. And I pass them. I go all the way to the bottom of the hill. And I'm just looking around, and there's really nothing. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not sure why I had this suspicion. So I decide, okay, well, I'm just going to turn around and maybe go back up the hill or whatever it might be. But when I turn around and look upwards, that small structure or building and those two dream characters disappeared. And I was like, whoa, that just really caught my eye. That caught my attention. I was like, wow, that seems impossible. I just walked past a building and two people, and I turn around and look back, and it's all gone, not even there. Especially the building. That was really surprising. But it was in that moment I realized, oh, wait a second, I am dreaming. I'm in a dream right now. And this is great. I just had this rush of excitement. I was like, wow. And I immediately kind of just had this inner dialogue with myself, like, well, okay, all right, just kind of keep it together, remain calm, remain composed. Because typically when you get too emotional, you usually pop yourself out of the dream. So I was trying to remind myself, okay, wait a second, just calm down, stay composed here. And I remember kind of looking at my, dream arms in that part of the dream. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to start, I climb up, and I'm starting to kind of walk up the hill, but in a different direction from where I was previously was, walking off to the left side. And then I had, I think in this dream, something said my name or said hello or was trying to get my attention. And for some reason, I was kind of annoyed by this. And I turn around, there's nothing there. I'm like, oh, that's strange. But the one thing that I noticed was that there was this tree off to the side, and there's this big bird. It looked like an owl. And I was like, oh, I guess maybe the owl is the thing that was trying to get my attention or called my name or said hello or whatever it was. And I remember kind of with my mind in this dream, I pulled the bird out of the tree branch, and I had it right in front of me. And I think that surprised me that I pulled the bird out of the tree with my mind and had it just a few feet in front of me and was looking at it. And that surprising element kind of popped me out of the dream. And that was the ending of my lucid dream. So what was the thing that really helped me get lucid in that was the discrepancy. Was that um I mean, I had a suspicion that something was up. Um, but the big thing was, okay, I passed two dream characters in a building, and then I decided to turn around and look back up, and it's all gone. That discrepancy was, oh, okay, wait a second, I'm lucid dreaming. And that's just one way that you could become lucid in a dream. There's been a handful of times where suddenly I just have an immediate knowing that, oh, okay, I'm dreaming. I know I'm dreaming right now. So sometimes it's very immediate. Sometimes it is noticing a discrepancy. There's something off. Dreams can be incredibly bizarre, but usually we're just kind of like, yeah, this is totally normal. And until you kind of start your dream work, your dream practice, then you start to wake up to those things and go, wait a second, this is a little off here. I think I'm dreaming. I've had dream characters, just like conversations, sometimes just like seeing a certain dream characters and then having the type of conversation. Sometimes you hear the word dream or talking about dreams. Sometimes you're seeing things or even having conversations about lucid dreaming, in the dream. And sometimes it's always funny that that might not even help you get lucid. There's been times where I dreamt about lucid dreaming, but I was not lucid. I was not conscious. And I woke up and was like, oh man, what the heck? I was having a conversation about lucid dreaming. Why did that not, wake me up, so to speak, in the dream? But there are times that it actually does. I've had both experiences. So there's different ways that you become lucid in that dream state. So that's lucid dreaming. That's just an example of a lucid dream that I had. Some different ways that you can become lucid. Not saying that's the only ways that you get lucid. Those are just some examples. So noticing discrepancies and sometimes just an immediate knowing. um, okay, so you have a whole year. You're going to be focusing on clairvoyance and getting introduced to different psychic abilities and different topics and all that. There's so much to this training, a lot of information. But I wanted to add an element where you get to practice lucid dreaming for the entire year, waking up in your dream space. So where you're at right now is different for each person. Your dream recall ability is going to be different from the next person. So the first thing I want you to do is, and it will depend on your schedule, obviously, just do your best, but try to go to sleep the same time every evening and wake up the same time every morning, or whatever type of schedule you have. Just try to go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time. That can be important. The other thing is proper amount of sleep. So typically that's going to be, for an adult, 7.5 or maybe 9 hours. Just depends. Some people are good with the 7.5, around there, and then some people want a little extra, 9 hours. Just depends. So just making sure you're getting a full night's rest. So see if you can do that. Now the two big things. I'm going to start with the dream journal. So I want you can do this on your computer. You can, if you like to, write, in a notebook or something, whatever you want to do is up to you. But I want you to start to keep a dream journal or a dream log. Start this immediately. So anytime that you wake up in the middle of the night, or especially when you wake up in the morning, I want you to first to start getting in a habit of not moving and keeping your eyes closed. I know that's challenging, but if you kind of start to set that intention, or just tell yourself, okay, you might do this before you go to sleep. Or if you wake up in the middle of the night, remind yourself, okay, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to remain still. I'm going to have my eyes closed. And what can help you do is, and you can kind of set the intention while you wake up and you're not moving, your eyes are closed, to remember your previous dream that you were just coming out of, and maybe some of your other previous dreams. And sometimes it's nice to just kind of go through them, like just kind of, okay, here's the last one, and just kind of try to memorize it a little bit. And then, okay, what were some of the other ones that are coming to you? And then just kind of run them through, kind of memorize them just a little bit. And when you're like, okay, I got the idea, got most of them in my head, open your eyes, come out, and then go ahead and write this stuff down. In the beginning, you might notice just a couple of details here and there. Even if you wake up and go, I have no idea, I don't remember anything, at least just put the date and say, I don't remember. That's fine. Just kind of get yourself in the habit of kind of starting to write something down, and even if it's the next day, okay, well, actually, the previous day, I don't remember anything. It almost seems like I wasn't dreaming at all. But in fact, everyone dreams are just typically unaware, unconscious, not unless you have some rare medical condition. But you might get to a point where you go, okay, I know I was dreaming, but still I don't really remember what it is. Okay, well, hey, I remember that I dreamt, but I can't quite remember the details of it. Write that down at least. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you can actually start remembering and jotting down the details of the dream. And the more you do this, you're going to notice that your dream recall is going to be increased. You're going to be writing more information down. You'll see that. And it's cool. You have the dream log. You can kind of see where you started and how you're progressing. So keep a dream journal, and just write as much as you can down. If you're, and sometimes I'll use my phone for this. So if I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I quickly, I'm like, oh, I got to write this dream down. I might text myself, or I'll use like notes if you have like an iPhone or whatever you got, and I'll put it like some keywords or just something that will help me, remind me when I go to wake up. I can kind of look back at it and go, oh yeah, okay, I remember that. So however you want to do that, it's entirely up to you. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, Because sometimes I'll be like, I don't feel like writing this down right now. I'll remember it in the morning, and you wake up and you're like, oh, what was that? You can't remember. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So it's helpful to just kind of write something down real quick. Um, so keep a dream journal. And the thing is that as you are doing this, and sometimes just having a dream journal by itself, you're setting the intent of, I want to remember my dreams and write them down and log them. That alone can start to kind of boost your dream recall a bit. But also you'll start to notice some patterns. You'll go, oh, wait a second, I've had this dream before. And you'll start to see reoccurring dreams and just certain patterns. And being able to, periodically kind of look back at your dream journal and review it and go, wait a second, here's this pattern, this reoccurring thing, this certain situation that always it's exact or it's a little different in certain dreams, or the certain dream character just continuously pops up. Those things, noticing those patterns, can eventually help you become lucid in future dreams. So start with a dream journal. Um, okay, so the next thing, this is probably the biggest thing, at least for me, it's been incredibly helpful, are reality checks, or some people call them state checks. So a reality check. So what I want you to do, and this at first might seem like, Andrew, you're nuts. This seems like it's way too much. I don't have the time for this. And it really does not take a lot of time. In the beginning, the biggest thing is just going to be remembering to do it. So I would say, and the more you do this, the higher success rate you'll have with increasing your dream recall and eventually having lucid dreams. So it depends on how bad you want this and how bad you want to wake up in your dream space and start having lucid dreams. So what you're going to do, I'd say like probably at least 20 times a day. Sometimes 20 to 30, but around 20 times a day. You're going to want to pause, stop. Doesn't matter if you're have a moment during your job, or if it's in the evening, or whenever it is. You're going to want to stop, and you're going to want to ask yourself, wait a second, am I dreaming right now? Could this be a dream? And you don't want to just ask that question and then just continue on with your day. You want to kind of test it. You want to check yourself. This is a reality check. So you've paused, you asking yourself, hey, am I dreaming right now? And then you want to test yourself. And one reality check would be, so you can do this with me if you want. So you want to take one hand and you want to try to put it through the palm of the other hand. You can use maybe a pointer finger, or you can use all like I am right now. It's up to you. And you're going to really try. This might seem really silly and pointless and dumb, but it really works. And I'll explain that in a moment. So you're going to ask yourself, wait a second, am I dreaming? And you test it. And you try to put your other hand through the palm. And obviously, in the waking state, you can't do that. Now, the idea, though, is if you're doing this 20 times a day, every day, what's going to happen is you're going to start to find yourself doing these reality checks in the dream. You might just automatically find yourself doing it. It might be that you notice some discrepancy in the dream and you go, oh, wait a second, I should probably do a reality check. And then you're going to try to put one hand through the other palm of the other hand. The thing is, in the dream, your other hand can go right through the palm. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm all right, I'm dreaming. Then you have this certainty about, oh yeah, this is a dream. I'm dreaming. And you can experience that in different ways. There's times where you'll find yourself doing this reality check with your hands, and you might not see your hands, but you have a feeling and a knowing of it. It might not be in your vision, but you'll feel yourself putting one hand and trying to push it through the other. And it doesn't hurt or nothing like that. It feels kind of weird. And sometimes there's a little bit of resistance. And if you keep pushing, it will pop through and you'll feel your fingers going through the other side of your hand. And then you go, okay, yeah, I'm dreaming. Now there's times where you actually will, in your vision, see your hands, and you'll see and feel yourself doing it. It works either way. It's just some dreams you see it, some dreams you do not. I've actually had one dream where I was standing in front of a mirror. So not only was I seeing, my dream arms, I was seeing the reflection. And so I was seeing this all happening. it felt weird, and it was kind of a cool experience. It works though. It works. Um, what I find with these reality checks is not only does it help you get lucid in the dreams, it also helps boost your dream recall. When I'm doing a lot of reality checks per day, every day, my dream recall starts to increase and increase. I find that when I'm not dream journaling, when I'm not doing reality checks, my dream recall suffers and goes back to kind of square one. And everyone's natural dream recall is different. Mine is just naturally low. It's not that great. I have to put in the work to kind of raise it. You might be different. You might be like a natural, you're just easy to recall your dreams. If that's so, that's awesome. That's great. You'll have greater success with this, I think. So that's one reality check. Hey, am I dreaming? And try to put one hand through the palm of the other hand. And you got to really try. Don't like half-ass it. Like really try. And obviously, you can't do that physically in the waking state, but in the dream state, it will work. It will go through. There's been a few times where I wasn't able to get it all the way through, and sometimes I still knew I was dreaming. Other times, maybe not. But majority of the time, it's going to go through, and you're going to go, "Ooh, okay, I'm dreaming. This is awesome." The key really is staying composed and calm. That's key. Anytime you get too emotional, you're going to just pop out of the dream and wake up, and there that is. Um, all right. So the other reality check is pinching your nostrils. So you're in the waking state. You're checking. Hey, am I dreaming right now? And then you're going to pinch your nostril, and you're going to try to breathe just through the nose. And obviously, when you pinch your nostrils, there's no airflow going through the nostrils. And obviously, if you're not feeling airflow through your closed nostrils, and okay, I'm not dreaming right now. Now, again, if you do that in the dream state, you'll be pinching your nostrils, but you'll actually feel dream air going through the nostrils, and you go, hey, okay, I'm dreaming. I've had the most success with working with my hands. This reality check. Maybe once. I don't know if it's happened a few times, but at least once the pinching my nose has worked in the dream state. But it's very noticeable. It's like, oh, wait, I'm feeling dream air flowing through. Okay, yeah, I'm dreaming. And that was an interesting experience because I was in a dream. I was not conscious, and it was actually going from a just kind of a regular dream or average dream, and it was shifting to a nightmare. And all I could think about was, oh my God, how do I get this to stop? I don't want this. I don't want to experience this nightmare. And that's when I started to do that reality check, and it shifted, and I ended the nightmare. I got it back to just like a regular dream, but I was at least lucid at that point. Okay, and then what's another one? I don't do this one too often, but you could just, and it's a little weird if you're around a lot of people, but it's entirely up to you. These are all a little strange, but again, just asking yourself, hey, am I dreaming? And then you could jump. Just jump. Usually if you're jumping in a dream, sometimes not all the time, but a lot of times you'll start to like float a little bit. Obviously in the waking state, gravity, boom, you'll come right back down. Like if you find yourself floating, then you might go, hey, okay, this is a dream. Trying to think of another one. Text. All right. So for example, I've got these books here in front of me. So you could, and you want to have fixed text. You want to make sure it's not changing. So what you could do is you could ask yourself, hey, am I dreaming? And then you could look and, find some text. And okay, I can see clearly this book says the title is Basic Psychic Development. All right, got that. I'm going to look away for a moment, and then I'm going to look back, and I'm just going to double check it and just, okay, basic psychic development. And I'm going to check the order and of the words, like the sequence and the spelling. And I'm just going to make sure I'm seeing it the exact way I saw it before. And everything's looking good. And okay, I'm probably not dreaming right now. Now, the big thing here is that usually in a dream state, if you look at something, you look away, and you look back, there's a good chance when you go to look back, the thing has changed. It might be a dream character. It might look like one particular person, and then you look away and look back, and suddenly maybe they're not there, or maybe it's transformed, the dream character transformed into a whole different person. But the thing with text is that if you look away and look back, it might be scrambled. It might look like, the spelling's off, a word's missing. Why is it a different language? Why does it look like hieroglyphics suddenly? And that's one way to go. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm dreaming. Um, and I've noticed that. I had a dream when I was in an elevator, and I was looking at my phone, and I was kind of looking back and forth, or looking away and looking back at it, and it was just looking. I mean, it looked like it was changing to like Chinese, and um, so yeah, that's you'll notice things will shift. I've had dreams, and I didn't necessarily have it didn't turn into lucid dreams, but coming out of the dreams, you go, oh wait, that's what was going on. But I don't know if you've ever experienced where you're in the dream state and you're looking at a dream character, and you look away and look back, and it goes from, oh, that's Jane from high school, and you look away and look back, and oh, why is it now it's Rob, and it constantly changes. But when you're in the dream, and it's like, oh yeah, this is all totally normal. um so yeah, when you're looking at something, look away and look back, things can shift, so just pay attention to that. um so once you watch this video, it's simple as that. The biggest thing is, what's your dream recall right now? If it's not great, that's the first step, is increasing your dream recall. If you're not really remembering dreams, it's not that you're not having dreams, it's just you're not aware of them. So you want to start to have a decent level of dream recall, and that's kind of the foundation. And this is going to be different for everybody. When excuse me, when I started this, I think it took me a good month, maybe probably more like 2 months, for me to really get my dream practice together and get my dream recall up before I had like my first lucid dream. Um, you might be different. It might happen much sooner. But you have an entire year. This is why we will talk about dreaming towards the end of the training, but I want to kind of start with lucid dreaming at the very beginning, so that you have an entire year to play with this, to wake up in your dream space, because it's a lot of fun. It's really exciting. Um, so yeah, so the first thing, just go ahead and notice. Just work with your sleep. Start with that. Just try to go to bed the same time, wake up at the same time, get 7.5 or at least 9 hours of sleep, whatever works best for you in your schedule. Start your dream journal. Just start setting your intention. When I was getting into this, I didn't really remember any dreams. It wasn't a focus, wasn't much of an interest. And then suddenly I became interested, and I just set the intention of, I want to remember my dreams. That was the intent. And it worked. That intention alone worked. And I started to write down my dreams. And I was starting to write more and more each morning. So keep the dream journal. Increase your dream recall. Again, this can take days, weeks, maybe a few months. And then the reality checks. The reality checks are huge. So in the beginning, it might be a little spotty with you remembering doing these things. That can take a little bit. If you have to put like post-its up or some sort of reminder on your phone or whatever it is, do that. But eventually you want to get it to that you don't have any reminders. You just naturally remember on your own. And yeah, do as many as you can. I recommend at least 20 per day, just throughout the entire day. And they don't really take that long. I know it seems like, oh my God, that's a lot. It doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes a moment to check in with yourself. Um, and it really helps anytime that you find yourself really present and just a sense of really grounded. That's probably the best time to do a reality check. Anytime's fine, but those are like the best times to do it, when you notice yourself, a moment of stillness, or just a sense of being grounded and really present in the moment. Those are the best times to perform those state checks or reality checks. But yeah, start with all that, and then just notice your dream recall kind of increasing, and your awareness is going to start to increase in the dreams. It's going to get interesting, because you'll have dreams about lucid dreaming. I think I've mentioned this. And that's when you're getting closer and closer. And it'll be a little frustrating, because you'll wake up and go, wow, why did I not get lucid? I saw a sign that said lucid dreaming on the wall, or me and this guy or this lady were talking about lucid dreaming in the dream. Why did I not get lucid? And just be patient, give it time, and eventually you'll have your lucid dream. Um, And yeah, typically your lucid dreams will be pretty short. Um, and that's a whole other thing to kind of work on, stabilizing and kind of lengthening your lucid dreams. But first things first is just the dream recall, boosting that, doing your reality checks, and just paying attention to your dream space. Before you go to sleep, set the intention. Okay, when I wake up, I want to remember my dreams. Set the intention of wanting to have vivid dreams. Set the intention of wanting to have lucid dreams. Anytime that you wake up, um, do all those intentions again. I find them actually to be more effective and more powerful when you wake up in the middle of the morning or the night or whenever it is, and just, okay, I want to remember my dreams. I want to have vivid dreams. I want to have lucid dreams. Um, and then go back to sleep and see what happens. Um, Anytime that you have a lucid dream, when you're in class, feel free to share it in the beginning of the class. Definitely would love to hear about it. But this will be an interesting journey. This is a year. You have a whole year long um, to kind of start waking up. So just noticing, hey, this is where you're at with your lucid dreaming practice and where you end up at the end of the year, at the end of 12 to 13 months. It's going to be very different. If you put in the work and keep up with it and are consistent, it's going to be radically probably very different. Um, so yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to me. If not, get started with that. Again, congratulations on joining the training, and I look forward to starting the first class with you. All right, take care.